Hey everyone, welcome to today's Lunch Lesson Live. Today we are going to talk about Instagram tricks. So if you feel like you are doing all the things and still not getting leads from Instagram, you definitely want to stick around. We're going to talk about how to grow your Instagram account and how to get actual leads from Instagram. So stick around. All right. Thanks so much for being here. If you are watching on the live, just say live below, or if you're watching on the replay, just type replay below. I'd love to know who's coming in the day of and who's coming afterwards. Awesome, thanks so much. Give me a little wave or a thumbs up. I'd love to know if you're here. All right, so today, have you been doing all the things, right? All the things on Instagram and still hearing crickets? Oh my gosh, right? I was there, I wasted years. I have been posting and hoping for years until I finally learned what actually to do on Instagram to get people to take action. It's hard, right? It's really hard. So if you feel like you've been growing your followers and you've been getting a few likes in here and there, but no one is actually taking action, we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to share with you the 4 things that I think are the tricks to Instagram, how to convert those followers into warm leads that actually turn into paying customers. So stick around. All right. Thanks so much to everyone who voted. Every Tuesday in this group, I put out a poll on what topics we should talk about. So I would love to hear from you which topics you want to talk about, what questions keep coming up for you. If you feel like there are questions or tactics that you've heard about or strategies that you've thought about trying but not actually implemented into your business, let's talk about them, right? I would love to hear your questions or what's holding you back or where you feel stuck in your business. So feel free to vote on the poll every Tuesday, or you can always suggest a topic here below, or you can reach out to me privately, or you can suggest a topic on those polls every Tuesday. So thanks so much to everyone who voted. All right, this is for go-getters. If you are watching this video, you are a mompreneur. You are a woman who has been trying to get her business started and you have questions, right? Let me know if you have questions about how to succeed with your business, how to get seen, how to turn actually customers into, or followers into customers, right? That's the goal of every business. And I feel like that's really the challenge, right? That's really the hard part. We all feel like we have these great ideas. We have this transformation that we offer as a coach, and we are ready to help people. We want to help people. We want to get our message out. So we start with social media because it's free, right? And we feel like that is all we can control. And so often I see so many business owners, and I was there myself, right? I was there trying to post and hope, right? It can be a long, hard road. So if you're stuck in this posting and hoping, definitely you want to stick around and help. I want to help you get unstuck, right? Because I don't want you to waste years like I did, right? I don't want you to make all the mistakes that I did. I made them so you don't have to, right? But this is for go-getters, right? And so if you are here, you are ready to take action. So I would invite you to write down 2 things from today's video that you feel like you can implement, right? And if you need help coming up with those 2 things, definitely feel free to ask a question, right? Or you can reach out to me. But there should be at least 2 things today that are different from what you've been trying, right? 2 new ideas that sparked a thought or sparked an action or something that you thought of that you haven't tried before. So write down 2 things today from this video that you're gonna try in your business. And I would love to hear them, right? Write them below. Let me know, because I would love to hear what you're gonna try for your business, what new things came up for you, what resonated with you. I would love to hear what you feel like you can apply to your business and what's helpful, right? That's the goal here. All right, so, and again, I always say, let's get in our abundant mindset. Abundance to me means that all things are possible, right? You can have the life that you want. You can reach the goals that you need to. It is all about believing and then taking that inspired action, right? All things are possible and you have the power to change. That's really what abundance is for me. So as we watch these videos, just think about what is what can I do? What is my part, right? What can I do from this video? What can I take from it and apply to my own business? We have to be willing to change if things are not working, right? If you're watching this video, something is not working, something is holding you back in your business, and there are things that you can do. You have the power to change. So we just have to be kind of open to new ideas in order to do that, right? In order to apply some new tactics or new strategies. All right, so we're gonna stay in our abundant mindset and we're gonna write down 2 things. All right, let me know who agrees. Who is down with writing 2 things down? Awesome. All right, so if you're new here, right, my name is Christina and I've been helping businesses for the last decade. My husband and I started a little bike shop coffee shop. It was really fun back in 2014, and we learned the hard way, right? We built this beautiful brick and mortar store and we thought people would just automatically come, right? We built this beautiful website and we thought people would find us. We set up our social media profiles and we thought people would just come and find us, right? And come to find out, they didn't, right? If you build it, they don't just come. It's a hard lesson, right? So we learned really quickly, I need to go where my customers are. And one of the social media profiles that we did was Instagram, for sure. And I don't think we utilized it to its full advantage back for the bike shop, and I wish we had. I wish I had known these tricks. So definitely you want to stick around for these 4 tricks because I wish I had applied them back then. I think it would have helped our bike shop tremendously. However, we did learn at the bike shop, and what was successful was that we learned Facebook groups, right? So this video is about Instagram tricks, but I say that with a large caveat. Instagram in the last 10 years has never, for any of my clients, has never been a big converter, right? Is that scary? Does that sound resonating with any of you? Do you feel like that's true? Instagram is just not clickable, right? You've noticed this yourself. It is the least clickable platform. And we're going to talk about where, as one of the 4 things, we're going to talk about links, where you can put the links. But are you posting on Instagram, doing all the things, and still hearing crickets, right? No one is clicking on your link in bio. No one is going to your profile. No one is DMing you out of the blue, right? If you feel like that's true, let me know below. So at the bike shop, right, we definitely used Instagram. We used all the social media platforms. TikTok wasn't around back then, but what we really found was helpful was Facebook groups. So I always say that Instagram is a great place to find your target audience and go to them, right? It is not a place to continue posting and just waiting, right? That is never gonna happen. If it does for you, that's amazing, but it is a really hard, long, hard road that I spent years after the bike shop. I spent years just posting and hoping on Instagram, right? I was getting followers, so I thought I was doing the right things. I was getting a few likes. I just kept doing the same thing, but no one was actually turning into a customer, right? And to me, I thought, gosh, how effective is this, right? If I'm not actually getting paying customers out of Instagram, what am I doing here? What am I doing? And so finally I realized Facebook groups, and that is after I took some lessons, right? I paid for courses, I hired a coach, and I learned that Facebook groups is where you can turn followers into leads, actual people interested in your products and services. And that way you can then warm them up and turn them into paying customers. That is really the goal, because Instagram is really hard to warm people up. Because for one, you're a victim to the algorithm, right? You are just there and you are hoping your stuff lands on the right ears, but the algorithm changes tomorrow. Your tactics all of a sudden don't work. Now you don't know what to do, right? Because who knows what has changed with the algorithm. It's really hard, right? It's really hard putting your business in the hands of, you know, a bunch of guys that are coding, you know, over in California maybe or wherever, and you don't know what's going to change, right? So with Facebook groups, you really have control over your business. You have people in your group, you have members, you can reach out to them. There are different ways in Facebook groups that you can notify your members so they see your stuff, right? That is the point. So I'm going to share with you these Instagram tricks, but I say that with a large caveat that if no one is seeing your posts, it is not doing more of that thing, right? It is not about perfecting your posts. If no one is seeing your posts, no matter what message you change, people are still not gonna see your post, right? You have to get your posts in the hands of the right people, and sometimes that takes taking a step further and going to your audience. So Instagram is great for finding your audience, but then it is really about using these tricks to reach out to them and go to your audience, right? And I would argue get them into your Facebook group, because the Facebook group is the best tool to warm audiences up and get them into your system, into your environment, get them into your business, warming them up to you and your offers and services. And that way you can then turn them into paying clients. So that's really the goal. So Instagram is great, but again, if you are expecting to make money off Instagram, you might be an influencer, right? You might be someone who is wanting to get paid advertising from Instagram. If you are waiting for customers to find you on Instagram and pay you for your services, you might be waiting a really long time, right? Don't waste years like I did. You definitely want to think about using different tactics, and I would argue this cross-platform strategy, that's what I really teach in my coaching, is a cross-platform. We want to use all of our social media platforms and get a system that is working together, and I call that a funnel through your Facebook group. So we're going to use all of our social media platforms, but funneling everyone to your Facebook group so that that's where you're actually nurturing your leads and warming them up. It's still valuable, right, to be posting on Instagram and all your other social media platforms, but you really want to get people to take action, and the best way to do that is with the Facebook group. Let me know if you agree, right? What jumped out at you, if you think that's true, if you feel like Facebook groups are a good tool, and if you're using yours, right? If you have a Facebook group, feel free to share it below. We would all love to support you and join each other's groups, right, and see what we all have to offer. That would be great. That's the goal of this group for sure. All right, so if you are not getting 5 to 10 qualified leads into your Facebook group every day, then definitely reach out to me, right? Say strategy below, because your Facebook group is your gold mine. That is where you are really going to, like I said, turn those followers into leads and turn those leads into paying customers. You want to get people interested in your offers and services. All right, so this is why you're here, right? The 4 tricks for Instagram. Let's talk about it. So the first one is, if you are needing more follows, likes, and comments, it is reciprocal, right? I think all of social media platforms are reciprocal. Be a genuine human being and reciprocate. If you want more likes, follows, and comments, you should be liking, following, and commenting on other people. And be strategic, right? You don't want to be following, liking, and commenting just on your friends and family if they're already in your circle, right? You want to be reaching out to new people who are in your target audience, and you want to be following them, liking their stuff, and commenting on their posts. More than likely, they will reciprocate and follow, like, and comment on yours. The algorithm works like this, right? All the algorithms are similar in one way. Obviously, they're all different in a lot of ways. But in one way, they are similar, that if you get more likes and comments, it will show your stuff to more people. So if you are not getting any likes or comments, that post is dead, right? After a certain time, it is no longer going to show it to more people. It is not going to show up in searches. It is not going to show up in feeds. It is not going to show up. And that's usually what's happening, right? For most of us. If you are only getting a few likes on every post, that's it. It's not going to show it to more people. It's dead, right? Until other people comment on it. If you share it, obviously that's helpful. But if no one is seeing your posts, it is not about posting more, right? No one is going to see those posts either. It is not about perfecting the post. If no one is seeing the post, it is not about doing more of that thing, right? So that is number 1. If you want more follows, likes, and comments, do yourself follow, like, and comment people in your target audience. And that's what's beautiful about Instagram. It is such an easy place to follow people in your target audience, and they will most likely reciprocate and follow you back. That way you are in each other's circles, right? You are following them, you're seeing what they're into, they can see what you're into, and it's reciprocal, right? And that is a great place about Instagram. That's what's so nice and lovely about Instagram, is that you can follow your followers, right? If they're following you, obviously you can follow them back. You can be strategic and decide who you want to follow back. But also you can reach out to new people and follow them, and they will most likely follow you back. So that's really, I think, the biggest trick. If you're not following other people, right, that's really the biggest trick. And there's definitely some school of thought about unfollows, right? Tell me how you feel about unfollowing. It is my least favorite tactic on Instagram. So many people are worried about this ratio, right? And if it matters to you, I can kind of see that, but I really think that unfollowing is not helpful, right? If you are worried about your ratio, then be more strategic about who you follow, right? You don't have to follow everyone back that follows you. You can, and that's nice, but then if you follow them and then unfollow, I think that is so much worse than never following them to begin with, right? Just because I think if you are following someone in order to get them to follow you back and then you unfollow them, I just don't think that's a great energetic exchange, right? I really think that is just unhelpful, right? Tell me what you think about unfollowing. I just think it's a bad tactic, and it's gotten a lot of widespread use, and a lot of people unfollow, and I think it's frustrating as small business owners, right? If you are following people and they are following you back, and then or if people are following you and then you're following them back and then they unfollow you, right? That's really frustrating. So you've done them a service and now they're doing you a disservice. So vice versa, right? So just keep that in mind. If you are following and unfollowing, just be really careful, right? I think be more strategic about who you follow in the first place. So that's really the goal. Okay, so that was number 1, follow, like, and comment other people's, and they will be reciprocal. And you can be reciprocal to the people that do the same for you, right? Be a human, reciprocate back on people who give you kindness, right? Return kindness to them in their business. Support others, for sure. I always say this, support others before you ask for support, right? That to me seems so obvious, right? Who agrees with that? Support others before you are asking for them to support you. I really believe that's true. All right, so number 2, this is a big one, is using the DMs. Tell me, are you using the DMs on Instagram? I would love to know who is using the DMs on Instagram. It can be scary, right? This is the point where I get a lot of pushback from clients, is that we are afraid of the DMs. I get it because we all get spammy DMs, right? Who has gotten a spammy DM, right? Every other day for me, for sure. And we don't want to be that spammy DM, right? We don't want to be pushy. We don't want to be seen as spammy. We are so worried about being salesy. We are so worried about being that pushy DMer, right? No one wants to be that. So but, right? I say that with a big caveat again, but we need to be direct. We need to go to where our customers are. And it is more likely that people are not seeing your posts. Even if they follow you, you could have 1,000 followers and no one is seeing your posts, right? So it really takes an extra step to go to your customers, go to your audience, go to them. If someone has liked, commented, or followed you and they are in your target audience, I think it is a perfectly okay, and not a cold DM. It is perfectly okay to reach out to them on Instagram in the DMs and say, hey, I saw that you liked my thing. I saw that you were interested in my XYZ. I saw that you were posting about blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about those same things and sharing free tips and resources over in my Facebook group. I think that is a very clear and easy and no-brainer invitation, and neutral, right? I think that is a really neutral invitation. It's not salesy, right? I don't think it's salesy. It's not, hey, I saw you posted about this. Do you want to buy this? That is way too, right? That's way too abrupt for me, right? And you don't want to be that salesy, right? Or even if you haven't even liked something, right? I get these DMs all the time. Hey, I saw that you're doing great things in this space. Do you need a VA? Right? That's a little too much for me, right? I don't even know you. I haven't even followed you, and you're asking me to buy something. That's too much, right? I think that's too direct. And, that could be of course, I think in our society, women are taught to be polite and not direct. And so that's probably a product of that, right? That we need to be a little bit out of our comfort zone and be a little more direct. And I get that. But I really believe the majority of us are so afraid to DM that we are not being direct. We are erring on the side of being passive, right? And I think that is the hard part for women. I really think in my own life, I've really struggled with being direct enough and not passive, right? And it's really hard because I think my default is passive, right? If anyone else feels like your default is passive, it's hard. It's hard to kind of put yourself out there and be direct. Hey, this is my business. This is what I'm selling, right? And I want to help, right? Here's my freebie. Here's my free information. I think you can still be genuine and still not need everyone to buy something. But at the end of the day, you're a business, right? You want to be direct and tell people what you have to offer, right? I think so often we are just sharing information without actually telling anyone what we're doing as a business. And I think it's often unclear, right? I see so many accounts where I'm like, I'm not really sure what they're offering. I'm not even entirely sure how they're going to make money at this, right? And maybe they aren't. Maybe they're just wanting to share information. But I think more often than not, we're just not being direct, especially as women business owners. Did that resonate? Who agrees? Who feels like they could be a little more direct in their business and their asking? Let me know. Okay, so that was trick number 2 is to DM your audience, right? And be really genuine with this, right? You can check out their profile. It's really easy on Instagram, right? You can check out their profile, check out their posts, see what they're all about, and then DM them something genuine. Hey, I saw that you were posting about this. I would love to have you over in my Facebook group. We're talking about free resources, and I think you could contribute. Or we're supporting women just like you, over in my Facebook group where I'm offering blah, 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 free something or other, right? I think it's a really neutral invitation, and I think it's a great way to convert people from Instagram over to your Facebook group. Now, there may be many people who are only on Instagram and not on Facebook group, but I would say far more people are on both, right? I really think that's true. And what's great about the Facebook group is that it really, again, allows you to have those 3 entry questions. We talk about this a lot. And so immediately, if they have joined your group and answered your questions, they have taken action. They have even if they've just joined your group and not answered your questions, just by the name of your group, they have said they are interested in something, right? Something about your title of your group that they're interested in, whether that's, wellness support, whether that's parenting, coaching, whether that's business networking, whatever that is, right? They are interested in something in your title just for wanting to join, right? If they've taken that action from Instagram and actually clicked on your profile or clicked on your link and wanted to join, I think that's taking an action, right? That's already converting them from just a passerby follower into a lead. I would call that a warm lead. So to me, a follower is not a lead, right? A follower, you have zero control over who follows you. Again, if you're following people and they're following you back, that's a bit of control. But you have no control over who follows you, really, on Instagram, right? Or on Facebook, on any of the profiles. You have no control over who follows you. But you can control who gets into your Facebook group. And that is the power of the Facebook groups. You can qualify leads. So your followers, you could have 1,000 spammy followers that have zero interest. They're not in your target audience and they only followed you for their own numbers, right? Probably unlikely, but you could have a ton of spammers as your followers. And so they're not seeing your posts. They're not interested in your business and you have zero control over that, right? So it's just really not a powerful tool in converting leads into customers. But the Facebook group, you can qualify people, right? You are qualifying who gets in there. You get to see who they are. They answer your questions. You might get their email address and they might say yes to your free offer, right? So already they have taken action and they have qualified themselves, whether they are in your target audience. Then once they're in your Facebook group, you can use some different tools in order to make sure that you show up in their notifications. And if you've noticed, right, in your Facebook notifications, you will be notified about group happenings far more than any business page or person or anything like that. So usually Facebook, friends, obviously, if they're tagging you, definitely they will show up in your notifications. But Facebook groups show up in notifications far more than business pages for sure, or a lot of other things. So that's what's really powerful about the Facebook group. Okay, so Instagram, back to Instagram. Tell me if you are thinking about sending a DM, right? If you're thinking about using DMs in your business, or if you already are. I really think it's a powerful tool, and use it to invite people from Instagram over to your Facebook group. That's a really easy way of turning those followers, because then you can see who's a spammer and who's not, right? And you don't have to send DMs to the spammers, right? Obviously, if they're not in your target audience, don't send them a DM, right? If you don't want to work with them, don't send them a DM, right? Obviously. But if they are in your target audience and they look really interesting and they look like they could use your help, send them a DM. Hey, I'm talking about these free resources over in my Facebook group. Come on over. Right? I think it's a really easy way to convert, and that is the cross-platform strategy, right? Of using these other platforms to grow your audience, but then get them into your funnel, get them into your system, turn them into actual warm leads. So that's really the goal. All right. Trick number 3, Instagram trick number 3. This is, again, leading back to being a little bit more direct as a woman business owner, right? And that is using calls to action, a CTA, right? How many of you are using a call to action on your posts, right? I know it's something I often forget, right? Sometimes I get into this habit of just, hey, here's some information, here's something interesting, here's a thought that came out of my head, this is something I want to share. This is, different ideas or offers or whatever you're talking about over on Instagram. And often we forget to tell people what to do, right? What are they supposed to do with that information? Just like it? Interesting. Like, right? And most people are just scrolling and maybe liking, right? Very rarely are people actually commenting or actually going to your profile. It's got to be a really profound post for someone to actually click on your profile and then click on your link, right? Notice your own habits. Very rarely are you doing that, right? You might see something where you're like, oh my gosh, that's really amazing. But if it's not a paid ad, it's not going to have a button, right? On Instagram, it's not going to have a button to click here. If it's just in your feed and you really like it, you're going to like it. Maybe you're going to be so compelled to leave a comment, but very rarely are you going to click on the profile, click on the, right? It's really hard to get people to take action. So you really want to have a call to action to your posts. That way, if someone says, hey, if you're interested in this, say DM below, or say strategy, or say replay, or say whatever your keyword is. If they say that, by all means, right? That is them taking action, and then you can reach out to them in the DM or send them that freebie, right? If they want your freebie, just say freebie below, right? Something like that. That way it tells people what to do, and they are more likely to do that thing. If you don't tell them what to do, they don't know what to do, right? Who agrees with that? Who has had any experience where you feel like you have used a call to action and it has actually worked, right? I think that is such an amazing step, right? Is that so often, and it seems so obvious, right? But I think, again, as women business owners, we are so taught to be passive, right? Here's my thing. If they know, right? We just assume that people will know what to do, but they don't, right? Notice your own habits. You don't often know what to do. If no one tells you to click or comment or do whatever, you're less likely to do that thing, right? It seems kind of obvious, but it's not always, right? It's really hard, I think, sometimes to remember, oh, I need to tell them what to do. What do I want people to do with this post? Yes, if you want link in bio, you could do that, right? But very rarely, again, are people going to go to your profile. More often, I would just say, comment below with, blah, blah, blah. Say freebie below if you want this. Say DM below and I'll send you the details. If you're, say offer below and I'll send you the link. Something like that, right? But if you don't tell people what to do, they're not going to do something. Right? Be direct. So I think it's really hard as women, but that's what I would, argue is the challenge, and is going to separate you from your competitors, because so many people are just posting and hoping, right? And I was there. I wasted years doing the same thing, thinking if someone needs me, they will reach out to me, and they didn't, right? They just didn't. I had to go to where my customers were. I had to reach out to them and make it easy. Make it easy for your customers. Tell them what to do. Tell them what you need. Tell them how they can reach out to you. Tell them how they can learn more about you. Tell them, right? Be direct. Tell them what to do. So that's really Instagram trick number 3, is be direct and give a clear call to action on it doesn't have to be on every post, right? Some posts can just be, free information. Here's a thought I'm sharing. It doesn't have to be a call to action on every post, but definitely if you want people to do more things on your Instagram, tell them what to do, right? Say something below, click on my profile, tell them, right? Tell them what to do. So definitely a call to action, I think, is really important. All right, we are down to the 4th trick on Instagram. So links, right? We talked about how Instagram is the least clickable out of all the social media platforms, right? And maybe rightly so, right? It was really developed to be more pretty pictures, right? And it still to a large extent is, but so many more businesses are on Instagram now, and we're trying to utilize it in ways that help our business, right? And clicking is something that we need as a business owner, right? I need someone to take action. So it is just the least clickable, right? It just wasn't designed that way. But there are a couple of tricks in order to make sure that your links are available. There are only 2 spots that are clickable on Instagram, right? One is your profile, right? Link in bio. And you can put several links, right? And I think that's okay. You can use a link tree if you prefer something like that, or like a bit.ly, or another one of those that has Stan Store, I think is another one that allows you to have a bunch of different links in one link, right? So you can kind of have that like kind of home page with a bunch of different buttons. So those are great, right? You can use those. You can also just add different links in Instagram itself. So only one will show at the top, but if you click on it, it'll say like more links or something like that. So you can use different links, and I would definitely include your Facebook group, right? Definitely include your Facebook group in your Instagram profile. Make it easy, right? And you can put different titles for those links. So if it's networking group, or, you know, support group for women, or whatever is kind of the tagline of your business, put that as the text for that link, and then have the link so people see the text and that's what they click on. Then you can also include obviously your website if you have a blog, if you have a freebie landing page, and then of course your offer or your Calendly or things like that, right? But I would always label it with something of the result where they get that, right? Like free social media audit, right, is something I have. So you click on that and it goes to my Calendly to set up a Zoom call. Or free resources, you know, you can enter your email, you know, free resources, and it goes to my freebie page. So different ways of including those links. So definitely that is the #1 place in your profile to include links. The second place, and the only other place, is in stories. So if anyone has utilized this, there's a button to add a link to your story. So I will often experiment with posting a reel, and then you can share that reel to your story and add a link. So it makes a really easy way for people to click. And it is the only 1 out of 2 places that are clickable on Instagram, right? And I'll say this, right? Instagram is great, I think, for building an audience, not a great place for people to click, right? If I say that Instagram is the least clickable, and here's a little secret, right? Many of you probably know this already. Pinterest is the most clickable. The most clickable of all the platforms. It is really a database. It is a clickable heyday, right? So if you're not on Pinterest, definitely think about that. Or if you have any questions, let me know. But if Instagram is the least clickable, Pinterest is the most clickable. So in the last 10 years, that's what I have discovered. And I really think Pinterest is great for driving traffic. Instagram is really great for building an audience because of that follow for follow situation, right? People are so reciprocal about following on Instagram, which is really great, right? And it's a great place to really control who follows you. And it's easy to grow your audience really quickly with the right people, right? And being strategic with your target audience. So that's what's great about Instagram. And I really think the DM tools on Instagram are far easier than Messenger. So definitely you can still use those same tactics over on Facebook Messenger. You can be DMing people over there, but I think the privacy settings are, and rightly so, right? Facebook is a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more, there's many more people sharing, you know, more personal things. I think Instagram is obviously similar in that way, or it's growing in that direction. But the DMs over on Instagram are easier to get in, right? Are easier for people to see. So I think it's easier to send people DMs on Instagram, and that's why there's the potential to be spammed, right? There's the potential to end up in their spam folder or get some spammy DMs as well. So just be careful, right? You really want to, and I think the first time I started kind of DMing, you know, a few years ago, I felt like I was getting more spam than people responding to my DMs. But once I got over that hump, once you filter out, you know, report these spams or block these spammers, Instagram is going to show you less of those type messages. So I really think it takes a little bit of that kind of getting over the hump of breaking through the spammers to end up in other people's DMs and kind of really start those conversations. And here's what I'll say about coaching, right? I really think that if you are wanting to be a coach, you want to get in front of people's faces, right? You want to have these relationships. You want these conversations started. And the best way to do that is to be direct, right? I really think that's true. You don't have to be pushy, right? By any means, but start these conversations, right? If you're wanting to be a coach, I really think building those relationships is part of coaching, right? You want to start having the conversations, you want to start those relationships. And I really think Instagram DMs is one of the greatest places to do that. You can really start those conversations and it can be really genuine, right? Hey, I loved your hair. I loved your shirt. I love what you're doing, right? Oh, that was such a pretty picture, blah, blah, blah. Whatever that is, right? Start being genuine over in the DMs and you will receive genuine DMs back. I really believe that. Okay, so that was really the 4 tricks to Instagram. Tell me below what your 2 action items, what did you learn today? I would love to hear what resonated with you, what you feel like you can apply to your business. If there are 2 action items that you took away from today, I would love to hear that. If you feel like you are stuck in your business, right? If you feel like you have tried all the things and you're still hearing crickets, you're just posting and hoping, let's get you unstuck. Just say strategy below. I offer a free social media audit or a Facebook group audit. If you've already started a Facebook group and you are not getting 5 to 10 qualified leads every single day, definitely say strategy below. I would love to reach out to you and give you a free social media audit. There are so many free things that you can do to start getting leads today. And I definitely think the Facebook group is the best tool to do that. So if you're wanting more strategy, if you need help with your DM script, right? If you are stuck in this, I'm not sure what to say to people, how to get people over to my Facebook group, or how to start those conversations. Sometimes that can be really scary. And every business is different, right? Every business is unique. And that's where I think the one-on-one approach is really helpful, where you can get a customized view, right? And it really takes sometimes, I think, an outside view. We can be so deep in the weeds of our own business that it's hard to see the bigger picture. It's hard to see what can be the most effective strategies or what strategies we're doing that are not effective, right? If we've always done something, it can be really hard to change, right? I was there. I wasted years just stuck in this posting and hoping, well, that's all I have control of. I must have to perfect my posts. Maybe I have to change my products. Maybe I have to change blah, 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 right? When we're stuck in that posting and hoping, we get really stuck in this, it's me, right? It's me, I must not be good enough. I must not be doing the right thing. It must be me, right? And I really think it's more about your audience. It's more that you are not reaching your audience, right? It's more that you are not being seen. It's not about perfecting your posts or changing your products. It is about reaching the right audience and getting them to take action. And that's really the goal. I think that's the secret to success, right? I really do. So if you're wanting that free social media audit, just say strategy below or the free Facebook group audit. I'm happy to take a look and give you some ideas that I think could help move your business forward today. If you want to work on your DM script, if you're stuck on what to post, if you're stuck on how to close sales, right? I think the biggest challenges for most business owners are mindset, motivation, right? Fear, overcoming those limiting beliefs, and closing sales, right? It is not that if you think you are bad at sales, right? So many of us I grew up hearing that, women are not great at sales, right? And I think that is just not true. It is that we are not taught sales skills. I think it is far more acceptable for men to be sales and to err on the side of salesy, right? We accept men being salesy far more than we accept women, right? And ourselves, allowing ourselves to be salesy, right? And I think that's the fear, is that none of us want to be pushy or salesy. But if you're a business and you're wanting to make money, you have to be into sales, right? You have to sell yourself, you have to sell your business, you have to sell your products, sell your services, right? You have to be direct. And that's where skills, sales strategy and sales skills comes in, right? And those are all things that I teach in my one-on-one coaching program. If you're having trouble closing sales, let's talk, because I definitely have some strategies that can help, because we're just not taught, I don't think, strategies. It's not that you're bad at sales. I don't think women are bad at sales. In fact, I think women are far superior at sales, or can be, because we are so empathetic, right? We can really get into the mind of our customers and be able to reach them in ways that I don't think men are able to. So it can feel a lot more aligned. And that's really the goal, is to find some aligned strategies that will help you close those sales in a genuine way, right? That feels aligned to your business. It's not about being salesy or pushy. It's about selling your business and your services in an aligned way that feels good to you. So those are all skills and strategies that I teach in my one-on-one coaching program. I would love to reach out to you. I don't want you to waste years like I did, right? I made all the mistakes and I want to share them with you so you don't have to make those mistakes that I did. All right, I think that is it. The last thing I'll say, right, is that if you feel like you are stuck, it is about getting new knowledge and filling in that bridge, right? The bridge to where you are now to where you want to be. And the gaps along the way is the knowledge that you can gain from other people, right? You really want to fill in those gaps to get you over the bridge, right? That's really the goal. You probably have many of the pieces that will lead you to success, but taking all the free courses and downloading another freebie or paying for a low-end course, right? Some of those things can be helpful, but it will take you far longer to reach the end of your bridge. It is far quicker to get the knowledge from people who have already gone before you, right? It is far easier to fill in those gaps in order to get over the hump. And I always say, right, it is far scarier. I know that it is scary to take a risk and invest in your business, but it is far scarier to stay stuck, because if you don't have a plan to move your business forward or get over that bridge, then what, right? What are you going to do? That is far scarier, not knowing what to do next, than to take that leap of faith, right? And invest in yourself and invest in your business. All right, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much for sticking around.